Alright. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, good day everyone. This is Luke to Infinity. I am your host, Luke, and joining me is everyone's favorite sound guy from the Luke and Me Show, Harry. We have a lot of stuff to go over in this episode, and it's a very special episode because it's our first one of the new year. Yeah, 2020, alright. Now, before we get started, okay, I would like to ask everyone to please rise for the pledge to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America. One nation, indivisible, under God, for real.
Thank you, Mr. Biden. I really enjoy the new pledge, Harry. It's awesome. It's so easy to remember, too. Mr. Biden, he's definitely redefining America. And I should actually say he's definitely making it better than great again. Haha, see what I did there? I just want to start off by saying that I hope everyone had a great Christmas and New Year. Hopefully you all got what you wanted for Christmas. I know I did. And I didn't even ask for anything. No, I got some cool stuff, and I'm very thankful. I hope you all got to spend time with your family and friends, and you better have avoided COVID. I got to spend time with my family and my fiance and my fiance's family, and I got time off of work, which was awesome and very relaxing. It was fun, so I hope you all had a great time as well. Everyone's saying that they hope 2021 is better than 2020. Some have higher hopes than others, so I figured that I would give my input and opinion, and you can disagree if you want. I just won't care enough to listen to your point of view. But my opinion is that if COVID isn't gone, and I mean that it's gone to the point where we're back to the old normal, okay, with no masks, no lockdowns, social distance crap is gone, okay, the old normal. If we aren't back to that by the middle of March, then I can pretty much guarantee you that 2021 will be just as bad, if not worse, than 2020. Okay, but there's good news on COVID. Almost 4 million people have gotten, the first dose of the vaccine, and by the middle of next week, almost all of them will be getting the second dose. Now, this will add to the 21 million people that have gotten the virus and fought it off, creating a natural immunity. Science, right there. And by the way, just a side note, 65 million people got the swine flu, known as H1N1. So if COVID is so contagious, more people should have gotten it by now, wouldn't you think? I'll let that sink in. But almost, with all this being added up, almost 25 million people in the United States will be immune by the middle of next week. Now, I know this is only 7.5 or 7.6% of the country, but hey, we gotta start somewhere, and as the medical professionals become quicker at distributing the vaccines, getting them out there and everything, and according to science, the immunity will increase exponentially, especially when herd immunity starts to kick in. It's another science term right there. We're all about science on Luke to Infinity. This is fantastic news. And notice, I bet you haven't noticed this, but notice how the media isn't mentioning the outrageous 4% death rate anymore. You remember that? Way back. It was this whole thing of 4% of the people that get COVID are gonna die. You remember that? Yeah, you're not hearing that anymore. Do you know why? It's because it doesn't fit the narrative anymore. Because the death rate is so low. People aren't dying from COVID anymore. Now, let's at least start to open our eyes about this, people, okay? COVID is pretty much just a giant fart in the wind that lingered a bit. Now it's just about dissipated. If you're like the media, though, and you want COVID to stay around, because the media, and especially the left, the Democrats, they want COVID to stay around as long as possible until January 20th, when they think Joe Biden's going to be inaugurated. And I'll touch on that a little bit later. But if you're like the media and the left and you want COVID to stick around, well, I'm sorry to ruin your year, okay? Because it's gone. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Because, get this, now this is something new. England and Scotland, I think it's Scotland, but definitely England, they're shut down again because of a so-called new strain of COVID. Well, I can pretty much guarantee you this, people, and let Luke to Infinity be the first to report on this, that if Joe Biden is inaugurated as president, I can pretty much guarantee you that this new strain will not reach the United States. It won't be reported that it reached the United States. Do you see what I'm saying with this, people? Okay? Now, if Donald Trump remains, by somehow, some miracle, he remains president, I can guarantee you the very second he's inaugurated for a second term, that new strain will be here in the United States. But if Joe Biden is inaugurated, nope. That new strain, you won't hear about. You won't hear a single thing about it. It might get here, but it will not be reported on. I can guarantee you that. That's how crazy our politicians are. As a matter of fact, they've gotten so crazy because of COVID. I have another story about a New York Democrat who wants COVID detention camps. Yep, that's exactly right. I knew this was going to happen. Okay, this fool... his name is Noah Nicholas Perry. Definitely an elite there. Noah Nicholas Perry. He wants to amend New York's public health law that will allow, it's going to allow the removal and or detention of people who are sick. People who have been in contact with a sick person. Also, people who are carriers or suspected of being carriers of a sickness, or maybe a danger to public health. Whenever this is whenever the governor declares a public health emergency. Okay, here's the actual wording. All right, of this. I have it here. Now it's a little lengthy, and it's definitely a lot of big words. So here's what it says. Upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, or suspected case, contact, or carrier of a contagious disease, that, in the opinion of the governor, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe morbidity or high mortality, the governor or his or her delegee, including but not limited to the commissioner, or the heads of local health departments, may order the removal and or detention of such a person or of a group of such persons by issuing a single order identifying such persons either by a name or by a reasonable specific description of the individuals or group being detained. Now, that's the actual wording. Okay, that's what it says word for word. And what it basically means is, now this is how I broke it up because it's really scary. Alright, it basically means that if you're sick or suspected of being sick during a public health emergency, which is declared by the governor of the state of New York, you will be put in a detention center. That's what this says. And all the governor or anyone he delegates this power to, right? Because it said including but not limited to the commissioner, the heads of local health departments, or his or her delegee. And this is all in the opinion of the governor, so it doesn't even have to be a fact that you're sick. But anyway, all they have to do is accuse you, and bam, you're in a detention center just because you have the sniffles during a so-called public health emergency, which again is declared by governors of specific states. And this one, New York. I can definitely see the New York governor doing something dumb like this if this would actually pass. Hopefully it doesn't, but you're in a detention center. And the bill goes on to say that the detention of such individuals will be in a medical facility or other appropriate facility or premises designated by the governor or delegee. Basically, a COVID prison camp. You will be detained there until, get this, until the government determines you are no longer contagious. Figure that one out. This is ridiculous. So not only does the government put you there, the government is the only entity that can take you out. The bill also states that in no event shall any person be detained for more than 60 days without a court order authorizing such detention. Really? A court order just for being sick? It's not like you robbed a bank. Is being sick against the law now in New York during a public health emergency? I just don't get this. This is nuts. The governor or delegee will be acting basically as the prosecutor, judge, and jury. This fool. What's his name? Perry. He goes on to say something dumb like, I'm looking at this article, that this bill was initially introduced during the Ebola scare. Ha! Really? What better time to bring it back? What an idiot. He says that it doesn't violate any individual rights and only protects people. Well, I interpret that a little bit differently, but I'll let you, the listener, I'll let you decide. I mean, I know one thing that I can think of. If this guy really thinks that this doesn't violate individual rights, then it should be a choice to go to these facilities, in quotes, to get healthy again. And you should have the right to leave whenever you want. This guy, he's just power hungry. He's absolutely insane. Luckily, the New York Libertarian Party is fighting this. So yeah, there you go. But hey, there's good news. There's a vaccine out on COVID. People just have to start believing in the science. Oh, and speaking of science, here's another one. Did you see this? On January 2nd, the House of Representatives, they laid out changes to the House rules. They have eliminated all gendered language. And they did this to honor all gender identities. Really? You're honoring gender by eliminating it? Does that make sense to anyone? Harry, does that make... I didn't think so. So, for example, words that are written in the House rules, words like father, mother, husband, wife, sister, brother, daughter, son, and so on and so on, words like that, they're going to be replaced with your neutral words like parent, spouse, sibling, child, and, words like that. The party of inclusion, everyone. Yep. They want to remove gender. If they really think people are offended and feel left out, then just add the generic pronouns to the rules. Add those generic pronouns for the people that don't know what they are. Don't eliminate the pronouns for the people that actually do know what they are. If these science deniers say that gender is a choice, then let me and everyone else choose how to be identified. Don't lump everyone into some generic category. These people are so hypocritical. I hope, listeners, you the listener, I hope you can see this. I hope you are listening and that you are getting the grasp of this. This is the party of inclusion. Give me a physical break. How do these people get voted into political office? I just don't understand. And going on with this, the dunce cap that led the prayer, the invocation prayer to open up the start of the new Congress that's, being blah, 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 whatever it is, the new Congress, I don't know what number it is, but here's this clown, okay, this is his closing of the opening prayer, okay, here it is.
Now and evermore, we ask it in the name of the monotheistic God, Brahma, and God known by many names, by many different faiths. A man and a woman.
Really? Amen and a woman. That's how he ends the prayer. When you're praying and you say amen, I don't know what this guy thinks. Who is this guy? His name is Emmanuel Cleaver or something like that, and he's actually an ordained Methodist minister. You would think that he would know what amen means at the end of a prayer. Okay, basically it means like, may it be so, or like, this is what I am saying, like, this is what I have said, may it be so. And it's a Hebrew word. And he actually thinks that it means that it's talking about, when you say amen, that you're actually talking about a specific group of men. So he had to say, to make it gender neutral, he had to say a woman. Really? Oh man, this guy is really dumb. And then the other thing that bugs me is that he says that when he's ending the monotheistic god Brahma, and God known by many names, by many different faiths, basically he's saying that every religion has the same God. This guy, and he's an ordained minister, I can't even talk about this guy. I'm putting that one away. Moving on. This may be something interesting. Okay. I gotta get to this now. Alright. President Trump. He was voted Most Admired Man of the Year of 2020. Yep, how about that? He beat out Barack Obama. Whoa. By 3 percentage points, 18% to 15%. And he absolutely demolished Joe Biden, who only got 6%. He tripled Joe Biden. And this was a Gallup poll, people. One of the most popular polls in the country. Right? It makes you wonder, how the heck did Biden win the election? I bet the Democrats didn't see that one coming. Yeah. Which is probably why the media didn't talk about it. But, say this, when Obama was voted Most Admired Man, the media exploded. Leads me to the talk of the week here. January 6th, congressional certification of the general election. Lots of big words in there. This isn't going anywhere, people. Okay? It's because of fools like Mitch McConnell and Liz Cheney, and they say dumb things like, any objection to the certification of the votes will set an exceptionally dangerous precedent. What dangerous precedent are they talking about? Do they really think that if the Republicans object to a Democrat being inaugurated as president, or being voted as president, confirmed as president, whatever they're doing, that the next time that a Republican is voted as president, that the Democrats will object? Have they heard of Bush v. Gore? Does that ring a bell? This already happened, people. The Democrats already set that dangerous precedent that fools like Mitch McConnell and Liz Cheney are afraid that they think they're gonna do. That the Republicans are going to do. The Democrats already did this. As a matter of fact, have they heard of Trump versus Clinton? The Democrats have objected to Trump's entire term. Have these fools already forgotten about this? Where have they been the past 4 years? Republicans in office, I'm telling you, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by objecting. But they're just spineless, and they won't do it. Which is why I say, if there are any objections or challenges, it's not going to go anywhere. So don't get excited, people. So dumb. So dumb. And speaking of dumb, I'm going to wrap the show up today. I have a new segment on Luke to Infinity, and I'm calling it, What Did Joe Say? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clip or two of Joe Biden trying to speak. And we'll try to figure out what he actually said or tried to say. So let's just get right into this, okay? Here's the first clip. So in this first clip, he's talking about the COVID-19 vaccine and to take it. Okay, so here's what he says.
And it will clearly and unambiguously urge all Americans to take the vaccine once it's available. I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason.
Did you catch that at the end? He said President-elect Harris took it today for the same reason. Wait a minute, Joe. I thought you were the president-elect. So does he know that he supposedly won the election? Has he figured it out yet? I don't know what he's saying. I'll let it up to you to decide. Now, I have one more here. I think he's talking about how he and his vice president-elect are, like, how their relationship is going to be as president and vice president. So here's what he says here, and I have absolutely no idea what he's talking about. But here you go.
If I reach something where there's a fundamental disagreement we have based on a moral principle, I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign.
So basically, I think what he's saying, now I could be wrong, but this, man, I don't know why I'm doing this segment, because it's really making my head hurt. But I think what he's saying is that if he and his vice president-elect, Kamala Harris, if they have a disagreement of something, that he'll say that he developed some disease and that he'll have to resign. That's what I get out of that. And people out there, you might be thinking, well, you're taking it all out of context, you're only playing one little clip. Okay, whatever. I mean, you do that with Donald Trump, so why can't I do that with Joe Biden? But, in my defense, I didn't splice any of these clips. These are exactly what he said, and I gave you some sort of background on what he was talking about in both situations. So, once again, that is the segment. What did Joe say? And as he talks and as he speaks, I will be gathering more and more of his sayings, because there's more dumb ones. There are some dumb ones out there, and I just wanted to start that off. This was like the start of this segment. I wanted to introduce it as a new thing that we're trying here on Luke to Infinity. And I promise you they'll get funnier, and we might even have some callers call in, and we'll get some opinions from them on what they think Joe said. What did Joe say? So, that's all I really have today. So I think I'm just going to sign off. I'm Luke, and over there is Harry, but join us next time on Luke to Infinity as we dive deeper and deeper into infinity.